didn't quite get it. We worked pretty hard and we stayed up late and we started out very early. We got a load of about 200, I guess, before it started to sprinkle. I got one load that was a partial on the stack wagon put away on the far end of the barn. He was bringing me back the second load and it started to rain. And of course, there's no good place to dump it with this door not opening the way it should. So he dumped it here. Everything that was going to be under the eaves, I just worked as fast as I could. The pile never unloads quite the way it should. Our pushers, one got bent. He pulled the other one out to have it not interfere. And the only way to have it not fall everywhere is to unload it right against the barn. And that's hard to do. So I'm using the man door right now and the opening where the siding is opened up. We're going to put a sliding door there to have equipment be able to roll in and out. He wants to maybe be able to put his baler and possibly the tedder in that door that is going in after we get this barn corner fixed up. So that's a project that's kind of ongoing. We keep kind of finding other jobs that are going on. It is chilly. That rain lasted for the entire day. And the only thing I can do to keep my hair out of my eyes is to wear a ball cap. And I know you never see me in a ball cap. I'm not a hat person. I hate even wearing a winter cap. But even with this, it's too warm for a winter cap. My ears are a little cold. But I gotta have something to keep the heat in. So I grabbed one of my husband's ball caps. Let me show you how we are doing though. I will tell you, these lights up here, they're a construction light. There are, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights on a strand, and you can get them with many more than that. They saved me because I was out here working in the dark, and I hate to work in the dark because you don't know what critters are hiding. And of course, I found a possum while I was working. Shoot him away. Had another work light on an extension cord that's just a regular work light. Right there. And that got me lit to here because I had to run from an extension cord. We have got 3 sets of these. One we permanently hang over the pig pen areas, and it really works out well. And when the Obama administration came in and they started outlawing evil, terrible incandescent light bulbs, we went into Menards. They had caseloads of these, and I think they were, you know, like $1 or $2 a box. These are about $5 a box now. So if you want regular light bulbs, you're paying through the nose for them. But in this kind of situation, I'm not a fan of LED light bulbs for a work area like this. If you've seen my home improvement videos, I swap them right out. I want as bright a light while I'm working as I can possibly get. And boy, today's a good day to be out here working in this sunlight. I'm getting a little bit of vitamin D in me. We worked as much as we could. The rain still got this load here, and each load is, I think he said 105 bales. I always forget. I just round it to 100. I've got trash to burn. It's a little breezy, but you know, risk everything. So I thought I'll burn the trash, keep an eye on it, let the wind dry this out. I've taken some hay out of it and gave it to the cows today. It smells fresh. They love it. It's not damp and moldy. I pulled the tarp off of it to let it get some air and some circulation going on it. The stack always falls apart as we're unloading it, so the best thing is just let the sun and the wind do their job. I'll start getting some of it in where it's dry. I have been unloading it and taking it into the barn. Let's go see what that's looking like. So today I'm just going to do the best I can do. Everything that was under the eaves, when we unstacked it, half the stack went that way, half of it stayed put right here. Okay, a third of it went that way. And a third of it fell right under this eaves here. And I tell you, I think we had to put some kind of a diverter up there or something. It's just impossible to put eaves trough on a barn and not practical for spending. We've always just added a little gravel here to help with it. But when you're unloading hay in a rain, it all is falling right here. So I stacked up as much as I could right here real quick. Got it out of the drip edge of that. And look what I did. I got in here. There was a wall for a separate pen dividing the pig stalls. And I almost have the rest of it cleaned out here. I've still got a little more work to go, but it's looking a lot better. And I'm going to grab some black plastic, I think, and go ahead and tarp this off, because it's not going to hurt the hay or anything with wind or snow blowing in there, but I don't want rain blowing in and wrecking it. And we really thought, do we need these windows here at all? Because the windows that were there were basically missing half their panels, and you can see this window, it's just fallen apart. Let me know what you think I should do. They had taken old house windows and just cut open the siding. There's nothing holding them in place. You know, it's just been a problem. I really think it'd be better to just board it off. When the pigs were here and the manure got high, they started pushing on the siding here and wrecking it more, and we had a bull over here. Big mistake in these little pens. This is a better decision. We're not having animals in the barn anymore. It's just too much work to clean out manure. If I do end up with December piglets, I am going to need a stall for them, but we're kind of working out some options on the dry floor to be able to do that, because we don't want to have this as a machine storage, just because the risk of fire. We watch another channel called Farming, Fixing, and Fabricating, and he had a tractor catch on fire near a silage container out in the open. He ended up losing his tractor and his mixer that he uses for feeding the cows, and they're a huge dairy, so that is just devastating. So if you're not familiar, October is Fire Safety Month. We're definitely wanting to remind our viewers and remind ourselves of those kinds of situations, just to be ready. These are not lights that we leave plugged in all the time. We're only out here working when they're on, or for very short intervals in between, because, you know, it's a light bulb. It can get hot and there's hay out here. The barn is not wired for electricity. It had been at some point, and somebody cut the line. It might have gone to a previous addition on the shop, we're not real sure, or to the original house. So I'm going to get back at this stacking hay, and you can see here, I've told you guys in the past how this drops down. So there's this wall, and it goes up to this dry floor. I really think it'd be a good idea to just fill that in with sand and concrete over it at some point, because, oh, it's just so much work. And speaking of work, and speaking of those windows, this is getting some air and some ventilation. This stack didn't get finished because it just was raining too much and it wasn't picking up well anymore. So I've got to fire up the Dodge. I've got a load of wood here and no good way to get to it right now because of the stack wagon. So I guess I'm going to have to deal with it. But you can kind of see what's going on with these windows. They're pretty useless. And, you know, like I said, the bull had kicked out the lower part of the siding here. I saved some of the boards from the wall that I tore out, and I think I'm going to go ahead and patch this up. And I'm wondering if I can do a weathered look on it so that it's going to match, instead of having this brand new red paint over this area. I don't know. What would you do? I suppose I could fake it and paint the wood black with a white trim so that it would look like a window. That might be what I would do, because I have black and I can do that. I can do that for sure. That's kind of sounding like a good idea. But you can see, I mean, the barn was painted before we bought the place with a big sprayer, not scraped real well or anything. So there's some, you know, things that I'd like to do with it, but like the sand got built up right here from wood chocks, and for some reason it just started peeling in that spot, and now it's kind of getting around in other areas. Not a project I want to take on for this year. It's too much. Maybe next year. Maybe next year. We'll see about that. Yeah. Let's see how this held up. Just wondering. It shined right back down to nothing there. I don't know. I don't know how well it's going to last. It said don't prime. Well, no, it didn't say not to prime. It said clean the surface and apply the paint. But on the table itself, he's got it up right now. You really can't see. But on the lower table, none of it shined off. It's on there. So I guess that's a good thing. So I guess when he's done with work, we'll have to see what's going on with bales out in the field. We really got to get that in the barn. It's not good to leave them on the stack wagon just because the tarp gets caught on a corner and tears open. I didn't get to repair that tarp before we had to reuse it. He basically took it off and started using it again the next day, and when he took it off it was dark. So I'm going to get this put away in the meantime while I'm waiting for him. Maybe tonight. It's just so chilly. I'm thinking it might be good to let the sun and the wind kind of blow on those. It'll all be cow feed. It won't be a total loss, but they definitely won't be saleable bales. So I just put them to the front of the barn so they're not packed in and they'll get used. The cows don't seem to mind it at all. They don't like it when they're like soaking wet with rain anyway, but it's all getting dried off. You know, you do what you can do. So that's a nice thing and a good decision maker when you're deciding to be a hay farmer or to be a livestock farmer. If you're gonna grow hay, you have to have livestock to consume any of your bad hay, otherwise it's gonna go to waste. I know a lot of you watch and listen to One Lonely Farmer. We were watching him a lot a couple of years ago, and all of his bad bales were basically going off for a mushroom farmer. I would rather get a higher price and sell it as horse hay, for sure. So I'm gonna get at this, and I'll catch you all back in a little while when we get to picking up those hay bales over there. Alright, just enough to keep the sun off of it. I think that'll do. Okay. Well, better than nothing, right? Alright. I wouldn't want an open window in my house, not in the wintertime. Like I said, no animals are going to be in here, it's just for hay. I'm wondering if I should go ahead and button up these other windows, but it's going to make it awful dark in here while I'm working. And I still got this last of the manure to shovel, and I want some ventilation. It'd be nice to at least get that one done up. There's poison ivy growing up there. Probably not a good idea. Okay, well, I'll tell you guys, this is no weather for a ballerina in a tutu. It's getting to be sundown. I've probably still got about 40 bales left. They're the moistest and wettest of the pile. Everything that was ground contact, I kind of got to roll over and let them get some sun in the morning. I kicked the pile out, and it's been in the breeze for a couple hours. I did what I could. I went ahead and tacked up the plastic over the middle window because it's not going to really affect me for ventilation as far as doing this last pen. And I think I'm going to grab the loppers before it's dark and cut that poison ivy so that it can be out of the way. And then maybe that can be my project for this week if he can find that fuel line for the tractor that we've been looking for. I think I stacked, let's see, 1, 2, not a whole lot. About 3.5 stacks in here, maybe 4. And then I just have been bringing in more bales to get them out of the weather for the night. I don't know whether I should cover this back up or just let the breeze kind of, I know, not now. I don't know whether I should cover that up or let the breeze keep drying it for the night. I put another 2 stacks in here or so, almost 2 stacks. But it rained and rained all yesterday. We had over 24 hours rain. These guys are all eating their hay and they're happy, but I want to get them some grain because it was so cold, and I think I'd really like to get them some more straw to bed down on tonight just because I know the ground is damp and cold. So I got to run up to the loft, which is not going to be an easy thing to do because he told me, go ahead and fill this whole section here. And this is the side that we're going to be doing the wall repair. We've been kind of figuring out what to do. But my ladder to the loft is behind this stack. And I have to pull out a ladder and go up on the dry floor to get to it. So while I'm up there, I'm going to go ahead and throw down a couple because I'm sure that the pigs would appreciate it. It has been, 40, 50 degrees. We did get that first frost. Not quite enough to totally kill this poison ivy off. I don't even know if it is poison ivy. It might be something else, but I know he had a reaction to a 5-leafed vine earlier in the year. So it doesn't look great, but it's a start. So just to keep the hay dry. So that's it for me for tonight, everybody. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next time. Bye-bye. Cheese, what's up there? What's that?
Oh, it's back to the harvest moon up there. The harvest moon is on almost every night. I think it's up every Saturday night.
Every Saturday night? No, there is a full moon once a month.
Oh, yeah.
And they say when there is a moon twice, it's a blue moon the second time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's huge. It's like the sun.
Yeah. Only it's not that shiny.
That's right.
It's not that bright. So the baby got it.
That's right.
And over here
It's beautiful.
we have stars. And then here we harvest stars.
Okay. Harvest stars. I bet you when it's totally dark, there'll be stars.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get warmed up. Let's go have something warm to drink.
Yeah. How about some hot chocolate? Yes. I'm totally in the mood for hot chocolate.
All right.
Let's go wash this up.
Oh, well, it's showing up. Can you see that steam coming off the top of these bales? We went out to the field last night. All of a sudden, they had said that there was going to be like a 30-40% chance of rain, and it was going up to 70 and 80 at almost dark. So he came home. We went out to the field. We got all of this hay. There's about, well, there's 3 pickup loads, about 150. And the stack wagon was incomplete, and the table didn't want to go all the way up. So instead of trying to mess with that at dark, we just used the Dodge. We covered everything up with this big tarp, tied it down so it wouldn't blow off, and it did not get sunny today at all. The bales are sweating. Look at this. It's just absolute wetness. Now, you see this bale is a lot darker than the others. This is where it was a second cutting, where it's much greener over there. He was out there today cutting the whole middle section of the field so that that got done. But these probably had a high moisture content anyway, We had gotten a rain and couldn't get them all picked up 2 days ago, I think. So these are all going to get fed to the cows because they got rained on. They're not going to end up going in the barn. But we decided to go ahead and untarp this because there's only a 30% chance of rain late tomorrow and 50% the next day. So I left the tarp tied at that end so we can cover it back up. But I just wanted to show you about bale sweating because I have never seen so much steam and the heat. I said to him, it's like a sauna coming off of this. Now the top of the bale here feels cold.
They're cold now. The tarp is holding in the sweating. So.
Yeah. But we don't want them to get all moldy and gross. The cows are not fussy and they'll eat absolute garbage hay. They are not finicky eaters like a horse at all. And that's why we keep cattle all the time, so that no matter what, we're not having hay waste. Oh yeah. Okay, so overall, this is called your second or third table, but the stack wagon drops all of the bales onto here, and this is where your 105 end up. This is the basic condition of what the first two tables look like. The paint basically is flaking right off because when they painted it, it was down to bare metal. Now we found if any damp bales set on this, it seems to end up flaking off onto the bales, like the moisture or the sweating from the bales kind of pulls it away from that surface. Well, I wasn't really sure about the whole prepping and processing of this, and a viewer commented about an acid that I could use on the surface to help pre-primer. Now this didn't say to use primer, and I was really hesitant to skip it. I'm not an inexperienced painter, so it really bothered me to not use that primer. Let me show you what's going on. We have probably had about 24 hours of rain, and we've had 2 heavy rains in between the time that I painted this with the graphite paint. I can see actual rust coming through. So that tells me that the paint was thin enough that the rust is coming through, or that the hay picking up has wore off some of the coating already. Now I can see here, these are not brush strokes going this way. So some of the graphite paint has already wore off. And I was putting hay away in the barn. Now I noticed the areas on the chute that were shiny have shined right back down again. I did the bottom skid just to kind of see what would happen. I really wish I would have rathered used the primer on this to do a test spot with primer and a test spot without primer. I was just going off of the instructions on the label, and you know, just as regular painting would go, you always use primer. So overall, this is not going to hold well. I'm going to use that acid on the next project and any other areas of this before more gets done. So you can see this is where the tarp was pushing up against, and I didn't paint any of this and the after. So I like the looks of it. I wish it was available in colors. But of course, we can't always get everything we want. So I'm going to kind of play with it some more, pick up another quart, maybe do some test spots on this back table to see what happens with primer and what happens with acid. But this whole back section is going to need a coat because it's down to bare metal. We don't want it to rust. I paint the heck out of everything because I want to have longevity out of all the equipment that we get. Because we're buying it used already, there's always kinks and stuff to work out. I did find out one of his issues with his stack wagon. He needs a repair on a weld that was done over on this main beam that goes from front to back. So over time, we'll do some tests on this and let you know later on how it all holds up, and he can hopefully get to his welding and getting this all straightened out to get us through the end of this season and hopefully have a better next year with the haymaking. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next time. Remember to hit that thumbs up button and don't forget to subscribe.